Well, good morning. I am Latangela Hyman and I'm with Marisha Mathis. And this is your Matter Moment. This morning, we're going to be talking about cyberbullying. I'd like to introduce Marisha Mathis to you. She's a clinical licensed therapist. Marisha, thank you for joining us this morning. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Good. Tell us a little bit about your career and how it relates to youth and your dealings with cyberbullying.
So I am a licensed clinical social worker, which is basically a mental health clinician, and I work with kids and children and adolescents and families. I started out doing mental health therapy in the community, and then it transitioned to youth that are in the juvenile justice system, and now I work with children that are in foster care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us and welcome. As we talk about cyberbullying, I want to give you a clear definition of what cyberbullying looks like. It can be posting, texting, emails, anything that's meant to have a malicious intent to harm or humiliate a person. It could be continuous or one time. Is there anything you'd like to add to my definition?
No, I think that's there.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So when we think about cyberbullying, have you had any personal experience or encounters or anyone you know of with cyberbullying?
I've not had any personal encounters, but I have younger family members that have had encounters with them where people were posting things trying to more so like embarrass or harass. So yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the mental health of the person and the risk of mental health issues with a person that's being bullied.
It could vary. It could cause anxiety. It could cause social anxiety where people are really reluctant to be around other people because of the fear of what they think people may be thinking or saying. Definitely depression. It can impact self-esteem. Sometimes it can relate to suicide or at least cause suicidal ideations. I remember working with a case in one instance where a member or an individual, he actually became addicted to crystal meth because he was being bullied so severely that he started using substances to basically cope, and the drugs grew stronger, like his drug choice, and he ended up addicted to crystal meth.
That is so sad. Now, how about the person that is potentially doing the cyberbullying? Excuse me so much. How about the person that is initiating cyberbullying?
I think it's many multifaceted in that sometimes it could be they don't feel good about themselves, so they want others not to feel good about themselves. Sometimes it could be envy. Sometimes it could be just be malicious, or sometimes it could be like their own low self-esteem, or they could be bullied themselves and they can't retaliate against who's bullying them, so they in turn bully someone else.
So if someone is being bullied, what are some of the suggestions you have for them, and what are some of the resources?
If someone is being bullied, especially because we're focusing on cyberbullying, you can always report it. Most social media platforms have low tolerance, if any tolerance at all, for cyberbullying. So whether that's harassment, communicating threats, doing things to embarrass, you can report it. That will be the first step. You can, if it's a child, then they can let adults know what's happening so that the adults can try to help in and stop with that. Resources would be, it would depend on what type of resources you need. If you're looking for therapy sessions post cyberbullying, then you can look for local clinicians in your area. If you're looking for policies and procedures, that would be probably your state government if you decide that you want to pursue based on the type of cyberbullying that's happening. So it depends on what it is that you need. I would just start by researching and asking questions.
Awesome. Any other advice for parents that are dealing with assisting their students or their children with cyberbullying?
Any advice to understand that children and adolescents require more patience, and that some things as an adult you may look and think like it's not that serious, but to them in that instance it is. So making sure that you take it seriously. Also being watchful of any changes that you may notice in their mood or behaviors as a result of the cyberbullying, and being a safe space so that they can come to you and tell you what's going on, show you if that's possible. And then some other precautions that you may be is just to kind of check in every now and again on their social media or their emails, whatever devices they have, to see if something is going on that they don't necessarily report to you, or that they may be doing that they're not reporting to you.
I think also parents may not be aware of the parental controls that are on mobile devices and stuff that kind of can't totally prevent cyberbullying, but could also kind of give them a little bit of a safety net and make sure that the kids aren't getting intertwined with other adults and things that and strangers.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to shift a little bit and talk about a particular scripture that came to mind as I was thinking about cyberbullying. And I'm going to read from the book of Psalm, chapter 27. I'm just going to read a few verses, but here's the scripture. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. From whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked came against me to eat up my flesh, my enemies and foes, they stumble and fail. Though an army may encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war may rise against me, in this I will be confident. One thing have I desired, that I may dwell, that I may seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret place of his tabernacle, he shall hide me. He shall set me high above a rock. And now my heart shall be lifted up above my enemies all around me. Therefore, I offer sacrifices of joy in his tabernacle. And I will sing, yes, I will sing praises to his name. I've read verses 1-6. Does that verse speak to you in regard to cyberbullying?
Definitely. Just understanding that you don't have to be intimidated or afraid of any type of cyberbullying that's taking place, and just understanding that God understands and is well aware of what's going on. But even before cyberbullying was possible, before the technology enabled it, God knew that this would happen, and he would have the support and protection in place that you need.
Oh, that's beautiful. I agree. When I thought about this scripture, the Lord is my light and my salvation in the midst of darkness, when it seems like you have so many enemies, he's our light and he's our salvation. He's our rescuer. And even as David was sharing this particular, his thoughts in his heart towards God, and where he saw God as being his protection and the one that he looked to, we want to point those that are being victimized by bullying to the Lord for rescue, for peace, for light, and to be a hiding place. Certainly God is not like man, but we also want to change the mind shift of a person, that they won't be in fear. They will find comfort instead in the Lord. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to add to cyberbullying? Any last notes or anything? No. Well, thank you so much, Marisha Mathis. This has been a wonderful opportunity to talk about cyberbullying. We continue to pray for all our listeners, and there is help out there. There are resources, both nonprofit, governmental, and Christian resources. Reach out to a licensed therapist to help you through this, and we appreciate your time. I'm Latangela Hyman.